Okay, so here we are nearing the end of June 2026, and I want to do my current debt situation just so we know in this journey, what we're looking at. And at some point, I'm gonna have all these numbers up on the screen for you guys to look all fancy like all the other people do, but we ain't there yet. Okay. All right. So initially, let's just look at the numbers. And if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes so I can stay on target. I have ADHD, so I will squirrel in a heartbeat. Okay. So I'm looking at my notes and I'm looking at my numbers. So let's talk about what we got going on right now, debt wise. So I have a credit card with my local bank. Monthly payment is about $115 a month. My balance on that is $49.18. I have another credit card with Capital One. Monthly payment on that is about $195, and that balance is $46.79. I had a business loan because, again, I am an entrepreneur and I had to purchase a lot of things to make the business what it is today. I'm grateful I had the opportunity, but I hate the debt. That monthly payment is about $351, and that balance is $16,807. And then I have my mortgage. Mortgage payment is about $1,100 a month, and that balance is $132,205. I have student loans, which currently don't have a payment right now, and that balance is about, let's see, $23,078.32. And then I have another small business loan that kind of helped out during things with COVID. That payment is $32, and the balance is $6,500. Okay. With all that being said, let's do some math. Let's do some math and see what we got going on. While I'm doing that, I'll talk to you. When it comes to my mortgage, that is something that some people kind of don't include in their payoff trajectory of things, but I definitely want to get rid of that. But I know it's not the priority. That'll be like one of the last things that I attack, but I definitely want to get rid of it. Okay. Oh crap. Okay. 2307832. Whew. Whew. Sorry. Just looking at that number with the mortgage included, I'm looking at $188,188.92 worth of debt. Okay. It's okay. We can do this. Subtracting out the mortgage though, let's see, 132, 205, 93. We're looking at 55,982 and 99 cents. That number look a little bit more better, but it's still a lot. Okay. So just looking at that, geez Louise, I've definitely got some work to do. And again, that's a mix of credit cards, that's the mortgage, that's a little bit of business debt, that's everything. And the reason I included the business debt because I am self-employed single owner. So it's just me. So even though, yeah, it's business debt, it's still my debt because I'm the only owner in the business. You know what I mean? So I gotta get that taken care of. How I got here. Okay. My business, like I fully started I run a personal service business in the beauty industry. And I went full on, let me back up a little bit. I worked in finance for years with banks and personal lending, doing home equity loans and personal loans, car loans, all those things. I worked in that industry for about 8 years with doing my personal business on the side. Then it got to a point where the side business was bigger than the main program. So I moved over and went 100% self-employed, right? So with doing that, of course, kind of starting things out, and you're going full scale on your own, you want things to look good, okay? So when I started, I opened my business in 2018, like officially on the books 2018, right? And 100% full self-employed. But again, I had already been doing this on the side and had already like established some things, business wise, credit wise, and all that I was able to get a loan. So I got the loan to, go ahead and get the building and get it set up and decked out and all of the equipment and everything I needed, so that I started the official portion of the business, with things in hand. Now, again, I already had clientele build up and stuff like that, so I wasn't starting necessarily in a deficit. I'm just one of those ones, like, if I see the vision, I know how I want it to look. I want it to look like that immediately, which can sometimes be a flaw because, you can build up to things. I'm learning that now, but I did not know that then, so don't judge me, okay? So with that going on, got the loan, got the business all spiffy and everything. That was in 2018. Of course, COVID hit 19. So then the early part of 2020, when the shutdown occurred, I'm completely self-employed. We had to shut down here in North Carolina, for, like a month and a half. I'm a person that I'm just terrified that I'm gonna get in trouble, so I follow the rules. When they shut down, I shut down. I know some that didn't, but that's their business. But yeah, so I shut down, and then some people were out of work. So like, even when things reopened, it took a little while to get things back where they needed to be. You know what I mean? People had to take care of stuff that they had going on in the past and da-da-da-da-da. So, we're left with building the business back up and then in a deficit for a little while. So that's like when the second portion of that second business loan came in. But it is what it is. That definitely helped tide things over until things picked back up fully. And I'm grateful that I was able, in a position to be able to have those things available to me. Then from there, there have been ebbs and flows. When you're 100% self-employed, you have to, make adjustments in here or there because sometimes income is inconsistent. That's just what it is. So, that's where credit cards and things like that came into a play, because you do what you have to do when you have to do it. But now I'm in a season of my life I know better, and I'm also at a point where I'm really, really, really focused on making sure that I don't have to work until I'm 80 years old. You know what I mean? Knowing that I'm self-employed, I know that I have to take care of everything on my own on the back end. Like, there's no paycheck, there's no anyone taking out an amount to set it aside for me. I have to do that, and it's just become a constant thing in my head daily, and it's driving me crazy, which is why I'm like, now is the time to start making these videos, holding myself accountable. You guys hold me accountable too, okay? And getting things done that need to be done, okay? Let's see. The reason that I'm no longer avoiding the numbers and looking at things is because I've always been like a finance nerd. I love looking at my numbers. I love budgeting. I've always been the person that, I have the blank calendar up on the fridge, and when the bill is due, the name of the bill, the amount is on that date on the calendar. And heads up, if you do that, that is a budget. You just need to tweak it a little bit to get it all planned out. But anywho, I've always done that, and like, I actually enjoy marking the things off and getting the things done and just seeing the progress that, even though me working is paying the bill, but it's still like me doing something to provide and do something, and move forward. So I've always kind of been into that. I reconcile my accounts daily. I look at my bank accounts daily, that kind of thing. It's just something I enjoy doing. But now it's painfully obvious that I have to get rid of that debt, because those debt payments that we just talked about, the monthly payments come up to close to $700 a month. That's just for the debts. That's not including the regular monthly expenses of, one, operating the business, two, operating home. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I have a daughter about to go off to college, and all the things that are going to come along with that. So there's all these things that have to be done, that have to be provided for, and then also just making sure that I'm taking care of future T. Okay? But we're going to get there. This is the journey to get there. So, that just is what it is. Okay? So what life looks like right now is, me running my business full scale and trying to keep things, is booked and busy. And I know my beauty professionals hate to hear that because, booked and busy is good on one side, but then on the other side, it can lead to burnout. But right now, I have a goal, so booked and busy is a good thing for me, okay? So staying booked and busy, managing, forecasting, and, mentally forecasting for the inconsistency. So make sure I'm not overspending, doing my no spend days and things like that. Make sure I'm not overspending so that way, when there are dips in the ebbs and flows, that the money is available for that. It also helps me reduce feeling overwhelmed. I've been using the app here, probably about a month or two. I've always used like a tracking app, and I literally, every time I swipe and spend $1, I go in my app and I'm accounting for it. Again, I love to do that. It's just fun for me. But I've been using an app called YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. And I absolutely love it so far. I've only been using it about a month and a half, but just going in there, seeing what I have, seeing what that money has been, earmarked for and all the things. And then, going through and deciding, hey, I really don't need that. It just helps tremendously. But I'll talk to you guys about that later when we get to the budget portion. This is going to create a lot of stability for me, knowing that funds are there when they need to be. It's gonna just, give me a better sense of stability to know that I have things taken care of, so I can just relax a little bit. Okay. And then, of course, the realization that something had to change. It is what it is. Things are constantly changing, and I know that I have to do so as well. So the plan, nothing complicated. I've just written out my goals. Initially, as part of the financial goal, the first thing was build the emergency fund. I've watched videos and done research on that to see if I want it to be more of do I want to do the $1,000 emergency fund and then the month ahead fund, that kind of thing. But with me, the pressure is building so bad. I don't want to wait to build out month ahead and 3 to 6 month ahead fund. So I'm going to go with an emergency fund of building that for $2,500. And then as soon as I get that $2,500 built up, then I'm going to go head first into aggressive debt payoff. Okay. And with that being said, the order that I've kind of chosen to pay those off is I'm going to start with the credit cards, of course, that compounding interest to get that out of there. And then I'm going to go with the business loans because that is a high payment, get that out of there. And then, like I said, then student loan, because I don't want that looming over my head. And I look at it like this, $23,000, that's like buying a car, 5 years, and, people paying the minimum, but I'm not going to do that. So it's not going to take that long. So I'm looking at it that way. So we're going to go credit cards. We're going to go business loans. We're going to go student loan, and then mortgage. I'm going to attack that bad boy at the end. Okay. Let's see. And then I'm going to be looking at ways to increase my income. Not sure where they are right now. I know I may get into like some retail items with the personal business, with the personal services business that I have, but that would take time for me to sit down and develop a product. And I'm not really in that space just yet, but we'll get there. And the next thing is to stop living in survival mode. That is so hard. That is so hard. I won't even hold you and act like that's something easy to do, but we're going to try. We'll see what happens. Some personal goals I'm working on is to become organized. I am a pretty organized person, but I could tweak some things to make it a little bit better. I'm the person that likes all the planners and the colorful pens and this, that, and the third, but I realized that, and the stickers and all this, but I realized I really don't need that stuff. Not as much, having a set of colorful pens and some things that kind of just keep me motivated and keep me focused, and keep things pretty is definitely cool, but I don't have to buy multiples and all of the things. I just have my main handy dandy planner here. And I've been buying this same one, for years now, and it helps me with the business because things are like about weekly and timed. it'll work out by the hour, but it also has like at the bottom space to write my priorities, and then the monthly part where I can do like my personal things. So having that, and then like I said, I'm a little colorful pen that I write in, and that's good enough. But the buying multiple and all the notebooks and things like that, it can get overwhelming. So just reminding myself to stop doing that. I'm working on creating routines, more of, and this helps with the ADHD portion of me with meal planning and going ahead and getting my food set out for the week so I can literally grab and go. And that makes me not stop to get food. And then what happens there, that saves me money. See, it all works together, right? Same thing with my clothes, is making sure that I either set things out like for the week, because for work, I always wear the same thing. And I don't really go anywhere right now, so I don't have a whole lot of dressy stuff, that I wear either way. So setting out my work clothes, like the pants and the shirt together, like for the week, and having it easily accessible. So when I get up, having my, my vitamins and things sitting in a certain spot, so that way I can make sure that they're taken on a daily basis. So that's just kind of creating routines, getting more organized, keeping the promises to myself. I have some little sticky notes kind of in certain places just to remind me to keep going. And it's going to help build a little peace instead of chaos for me, kind of help getting out of the chaotic cycle of things, business goals, grow income without burnout. Right now it's booked in busy season, so it's hard to say that, but it is what it is. We're going to do all we can do while we can do it, and get these things taken care of, and then get the future, things worked out for that. So then I can relax a little bit. While I'm able, I'm going to do what I got to do. Okay. Working smarter and creating a better future. We just talked about that. So I don't want this channel to be about, pretending that I know everything, because I have a finance background. Because the saying that when you know better, you do better, that's not always true. Because I know better and I knew better, but I wasn't in the position to do better at all the times. Sometimes you have to do what's best for you in that moment, and you don't really think about anything else. And that's a lot of what I did and what I had to do just to make sure that my family was taken care of and provided for in those moments. I want to apologize for that. It is what it is. It's done. Now it's time to clean up the mess. And if that resonates with you, if you're on this journey as well, let me know in the comments below what's one thing that you want to get taken care of that will literally make you release and relax a little bit. But I'm thankful to have you guys with me on this journey. I will see you in the next video, and we're going to really deep dive into some things. So, bring your paper and pen along with you. Let's all learn together. All right, you guys stay tuned. Take care.